Hey everybody, Eric here in the garden today. Did the first lawn cut of the year, at least in the front yard. I was cutting the grass for most of my lawn, especially by the roses. It seems like I'm cutting more weeds and sand than anything, but it is what it is. Maybe eventually I'll work on the grass, especially in between these beds. I wouldn't mind trying to renovate that so that it looks more like this lawn right here in the center. Roses are looking pretty good. The point of this video is going to talk about composting. I appreciate all the new subscribers that we've got. If you're new to the channel, we're trying to do videos a couple times a week, essentially whenever I'm out in the garden and I'm doing something, whether it's spraying, fertilizing, deadheading. If I have a disease, an issue, say spider mites, I'll talk about it and what I'm doing. So it's kind of a video blog. We started last spring, and then we'll continue to go through the season. So winter months, not as much in terms of content, but from late winter through the fall, I look forward to at least a couple videos per week. So what I want to talk about today, and if you click below on some playlists I just developed, I've got a couple longer videos on compost. One of the things that I like to get is municipal compost. I know you're getting other people's stuff, so there's a chance that you could be introducing some things into your garden, but the local facility seems to do a pretty good job of heating it up, so I haven't had any issues. I have always had a compost pile myself. This one is about 3 years. A lot of it initially was any of the rose beds. This was all grassed in area, so when I removed the sod, the majority of this compost pile was created from that. I didn't get rid of any of it. We do have a landscape or brush pickup in the town in the fall and spring, but the pretty much any yard waste I put in here, the majority of that is grass clippings, and I just did that now. So we usually don't bag our grass, centipede lawn. We can sometimes, and I did it at the beginning of the year because a lot of the dead grass and thatch came up, so I just wanted to kind of give the lawn a fresh start. So grass clippings are certainly a good thing to put in your compost pile. I would say if you just had your lawn sprayed, probably don't want to put those grass clippings in. So wait a couple weeks if you've had any lawn service in your yard. Another good thing is kitchen scraps. You don't want any, meat, eggs, anything that would spoil, but something like this, strawberries, banana peels, grapes, these are just cut up the tops of the strawberries. So anything organic, throw into the pile. So grass clippings, leaves, sod when you remove your lawn, things of that nature. I've got some pine straw and leaves in there as well. Those are all good things. One thing you don't want to put in your lawn or in your compost pile, any old rose clippings. You can see the pile over there in the distance. That's waiting for the town to pick that up here. I think the date is in a couple weeks. So I don't have any leaves in here or canes from roses. This is all yard waste, clippings, leaves, pine straw, kitchen scraps. And I kind of dug down here a little bit to show you what happens after sometimes a couple years, because I don't do what you're supposed to. Ideally, you should be watering this, keeping this moist. This is very dry, this material I just put in. And you want to turn it to add air to the compost pile. That will make it break down very, very quickly. In a short period of time, you can produce your own compost. For me, out of convenience, I have a compost pile. When it breaks down, eventually I'll use it. I'm not in a hurry. And I dug down here a little bit to show you there's dry material under here a little bit. Despite me not watering, the natural rain has kept this moist. If I dig down a lot, in a prior video you could see, I don't see it now, but you can see this has been composted. You can see some of it's sandy because that's from the sod that I removed here over the last couple years, and a lot of times I'll see a lot of worms. You might not think that's a big deal, but with our 100% sand down here, I never saw any worms in the soil when I dug it up. So for us to have some worms here in the compost pile is a good thing. So quick video. Again, if you're going to bag your clippings, that's an excellent resource. You can just go ahead and dump that in. And again, you can see how dry this material is when you first put it in. If you want to water it in and turn the pile once a week, your compost will be quicker. If you're like me, you set it and forget it, and yes, at some point, maybe a year or two down the road, I'll be able to use this. I may move some of this over to the area behind the trellis where we're trying to start a new area in our lawn of plants. So I potentially may use that here coming up. So that's it. Again, grass clippings make a good compost. Comment below, do you have a compost pile in your yard? What do you put in it? Do you use it in your garden? And if you don't have a compost pile, do you use any compost in your rose beds? Do you buy the bag stuff at the big box store or maybe your country supply store? Or do you go to your local municipality and buy it there? I know a lot of folks use compost. Some benefits include aeration to the soil itself, water holding capacity, and nutrient holding capacity. So I've got 100% sand. So by adding compost, I'm aiding the ability of my soil to hold on to that water and nutrients. And one thing I mentioned in a prior video, our compost here, I usually have it tested, just like I do a normal soil test each year. I'll send off a sample of just pure compost. It's a pH of 8. So with a normal pH value of 5.5 to 6, that's pretty acidic for roses. They like, more the 6.3 to 6.5 range. I add compost actually to raise my pH. So that's another benefit. I know when I was up in Onondaga County in central New York, Okra was the compost facility there. They usually tested it and provided that online. And a lot of times it was also a pH of around 8. So that's another unknown benefit that you might not realize, that it may actually be able to raise the pH of your soil, much like a lime would as you apply to the garden. So that's it. I appreciate the new followers and subscribers. As always, click on the notification button. That way you'll get updates when these videos are complete. Hope everybody's enjoying the weather. Hopefully it's like that where you are. Here in Eastern North Carolina, we've been very lucky to have pretty nice spring here so far. It does look like a lot of us are going to kind of cool down by the middle part of April. So if you're thinking about getting in the garden, now is probably the time to do it before we have one of those traditional cool snaps in the spring. Have a great day, everybody.